back to Grooving and Giving in Early Retirement. This is Radhika. I left my career in the middle of the pandemic to pursue my passions, and one of them is traveling. And in today's video, I'm talking about Albania, actually just Tirana, one of the gems of the Balkan countries. Now, Albania was really not on our list to travel to, or I should say it was lower on our list. But decisions get made for you, and sometimes that's a really, really good thing. Okay, here's how the decision got made for me. One, my husband is a professional photographer, and the Balkans was definitely an area that he wanted to photograph and help build his portfolio for his business, which really took a beating during the pandemic. His business being John De Silva Photography. Check out his channel, by the way. The second reason, and maybe the bigger reason actually, is that I had a friend and a colleague, ex-colleague, who volunteered with the United States Peace Corps in Albania for 2 years in Puglia, and he was there. And after his stint, he was going to stick around for a little while and travel to the country. And he said, "Hey, why don't you guys come while I'm there?" The other thing was that we, with my ex-colleague and friend Rakesh, had done projects from my charity for the children in the Roma community and the Egyptian community. My not-for-profit, A Childhood for Children, is my biggest passion and my biggest reason for leaving my 23-year-long career. I left my career to focus on my not-for-profit. My not-for-profit is a US-based organization, completely volunteer-based, with a mission to provide essential items to children in impoverished and underserved communities. And this year, in 2026, we are going to be celebrating our 14th anniversary. So, wow. So I was definitely up for making the trip to Albania to visit with the kids and obviously see the country. Now, we did travel to other Balkan countries, but they're going to be separate videos, also about separate videos on Albania other than Tirana. This is just Tirana. So let's talk Tirana. We arrived late in Tirana, long layover in Munich, took a taxi from the airport, very easy to do, and we went to our home exchange, not a hotel, home exchange. Check out my travel hack video on this whole home exchange thing. I love it. We spent about 5 days in Tirana, and the home exchange location was fantastic for us, very convenient. Generally, when we get into a new city, we do a walking tour through Guru Walk or the local walking tour company. But before we actually meet on the tour, we will just scope out the city. And John likes to do that so that he can figure out, what kind of photography that city is going to offer for him or to him. The city is absolutely beautiful, by the way. It is a mishmash of very, very modern buildings. I mean, some of the designs of these buildings are fantastic. And they're juxtapositioned with the older buildings and the Islamic influence on the country and the city. So all in all, it's just very visually fantastic. Now, the day we were doing our walking tour, the Giro d'Italia bike race was in Tirana, so there were tons of cyclists everywhere, and there was so much hubbub and excitement in the city. I love getting into a city and there's like some local thing going on, and like there's streets are closed, and yes, it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but if you look at it from another point of view, it's like this whole excitement in the city that you may not have experienced had you not been there on that day. Okay, so if you Google top 10 things to see in Tirana or what have you, you'll get a whole bunch of things, somewhere from like 8 to like 17 to 20. So like I said, the walking tours is a great way to see the city, learn from the history, and support the local guides. If you do the tour, most of your tours will start in the center of Tirana, which is home to the Skanderbeg Square. We have the monument of Skanderberg on one side of the square, which is where we met our tour guide. Now, the square has a lot of important buildings near or around the square, like the Etembe Mosque, the Opera House, which by the way has this fantastic, I mean, you're seeing it on the screen. This architecture of this building is basic, it's so cool. The Clock Tower of Tirana also has the National History Museum on the square. By the way, the mosaic is titled "The Albanians" on the National History Museum, and it depicts key historical figures from the history. Now, a little bit further away from this big square, in a really smaller square, actually, is the statue of Suleiman Pasha Bagini, who was an Ottoman. One of the must-sees of the city is the Namazga Mosque also known as the Great Mosque of Tirana. We spent quite a lot of time here. In fact, we walked by it so many times that we literally photographed it almost every time we walked by it. It is impressive. Side note, as with any mosque, you need to be properly attired. You can't go with bare shoulders and bare legs and things like that. So just make sure that you are properly dressed to go into the mosque. It's a beautiful mosque. The other things that I think are very much worth checking out is the Tanner's Bridge, which is, I mean, you just walk over the bridge. It's an 18th century stone bridge from the Ottoman period. It's 8 meters long. It's a small bridge. It's a pedestrian bridge. The other thing that I would say is kind of not a must see, but hey, if you won't have time, do it, is the Pyramid of Tirana. It's a structure, used to be a former museum, and then it became a conference center. And then during the Kosovo War, it was used as a NATO base, and you get a view of the city. It's not that high, but you know what? It's worth doing. Other things that, if you saw a list would say the Bunkart Museum, I've seen several places where it says a must see. We passed on doing it. The Bunkart 2 Museum is a large bunker in the center near the square, the Skanderberg Square. We decided not to do it. By the way, this guy built over 150,000 bunkers throughout the country. He had a fear of invasion from the United States and Soviet Union. The other places that people will say is a must see. One of them was Tirana Castle, which is a fortress dating back to 1300 and is a remnant from the Byzantine era. We were going to visit other castles, so we skipped the Tirana Castle. One last place that's worth seeing is the walking street. A lot of European cities, as you know, have walking streets. This is the Murat to Toptani Road. The road is named for the Toptani family, which was a leading Albanian noble family while Albania was under the Ottoman rule. The name is derived from the word meaning cannon, as the Toptani family owned cannons. Now, the tours and all are great, okay? But keep your eyes open for like all these modern buildings in Tirana that just are so appealing and architecturally creative. There's artwork, there's murals, there's sculptures. So just keep your eyes open. Near our home exchange, we found a sculpture made out of plastic jugs, the big jugs. And we saw the artist like fixing the artwork and sculpture. And so one day as we were walking by, the studio was open and we popped in to talk to him and spend some time with him. That's the kind of stuff I like about show travel. There's no hurry, there's no agenda. It's just having time to explore some of the things. There's no must-see list. It's you see what you want to see. So it was a really fantastic experience to interact with him and get his view on Tirana, Albania, politics, culture, everything. So with that, I would say visit Tirana. It's a beautiful city. We really enjoyed it. I think a few days in Tirana is well worth your time. I am moving and getting an early retirement and loving it. Thank you all so much for watching. And as they say in Albanian, Faleminderi.